I hope you had a great weekend. It is a Monday edition of Red Sox Now. I'm your host, Mike Antonellis. It's all presented by FanArch right here on YouTube. I'm one of the radio and TV broadcasters for the Worcester Red Sox. I got to spend a lot of time watching the WooSox this week. I got some good things to talk about. We have a lot of first-timers here, so I know I repeat myself, but I have to. 29 years working in professional baseball. I like to share some industry secrets, share some things I know. It's interesting when you're on. I've been on the inside. There are things that I want to tell you guys. And as we get more to this, I'll share how executives think and how player development. We could do a whole show on some player development things. I got some good stories about that. A Garrett Whitlock, great story too. Maybe we'll get to that at the end or down the road, or that's just a tease for another episode. But before we go any further, we have to tell you to subscribe. You have been. The subscriptions are going up. We need you to comment. We need you to like. And Houston, we don't have a problem. Great series. I know I say some strange things, and I don't mind. It's from here, man. It's from here. It's the honest Mike. I like that they got down all three games, albeit, 1-0 twice? So what? They were down all three games. I saw a lot of this on Saturday. Well, let's go back to Friday. The pre-game Cooper Criswell tweets to post-game. It's getting absurd. Like some Red Sox fans on social media, it's getting like ridiculous. I don't know if some of it's a joke, but it's like some of the irrational thinking has gotten I saw people criticizing them after the game on Sunday, which was comical. But I saw some people, and I called them out on a DM, and they're friends, so I don't care. I gave them their pre-game tweet and their post-game, and I go, man, you're a bandwagon fan, aren't you? I called them out. I didn't expect that, though. Cooper Criswell had a great year in 24. I know this because I look at the game notes every day with the WooSox, and I see what he did in 24. And that was huge. And they need that. They need a depth piece in him and Harrison. Some quick takeaways from the WooSox. Jostinson Garcia is a beast. He's an absolute beast. He's homered in 3 straight games. WooSox are off today. They're back at it tomorrow. In the manager's office on Saturday, Chad Tracy told them they're going to talk to him about first base. They want to talk to him. They want to introduce and ask him about it first. If he's comfortable with it, I have to imagine if it's a ticket to the big leagues, he's going to say yes. But I've loved this guy all year. I've talked about him. He's a terrific hitter. Power, but he goes to all fields. He's a great outfielder. And if there's a path at first base, it will be very interesting. Mikey Romero looked really good. I will tell you this. The guy played third base like the way Meyer played third base. He's not really a third baseman. He played a lot in Portland, but mainly a shortstop second baseman. But he is a really good defender. And the speed of the game from AA to AAA didn't matter. He hit 2 homers on Sunday, knocked in 6. Kyle Harrison, his start, mixed bag. It was not bad. Some flashes of some really good. Connolly early. Nothing dominant. First AAA start, but only went 3 2/3, walked a lot. We'll see, we'll see how he goes, but not a lot of dominant stuff. And David Sandlin looked really good in his time. And maybe a possibility we see him in a 2-inning role. And, because he's throwing hard. So, quick things from Worcester. There's some good players there. There really are. And if Garcia has a chance, and I think he's going to have a chance, man, is he special. He is a special guy, I'll tell you. Just the things he does with the bat, it's a special thing. And, again, it's AAA pitching, but he began there in AA, and he's quickly rising, a lot like the good ones. They come up to this level, and they dominate. Red Sox, though, terrific. Terrific. The comebacks, the Roman Anthony. I said this to the guys that I work with. Roman Anthony has some Tom Brady-like traits. And I just mean it's very calm. The way he speaks, and I noticed this when he did interviews with us. I interviewed him a few times post-game, and he doesn't even look like he minds doing them. He's very, I'll talk to you, and But when you watched him in that at bat, the walk off, he's so calm. And he spit on some pitches. He fouled some tough pitches off. He can handle the big moment. I mean, just to see the maturation in how this has grown so fast, because he's going to be the franchise. There's no doubt about it. He is the franchise coming up. And they're going to probably give him, I'd do 200. I really would. I've quit, 10 years, 200 million. I mean, I would do that. Would he do that? 20. I mean, that's a lot of money. And it buys him his 10 years service time, which changes your pension dramatically. Their pension's nuts where they can keep passing it down. It's not just your significant other, it's your kids. Their pension is crazy. I had an ex-player explain it to me once. I'm like, what? I mean, they still get a lot of good perks even if it's, 3 or 4 years. But I was impressed. I will tell you this. I did a video on this. I put this on TikTok. And I am in the minority of this, and I don't mind. I love what Cora did on Saturday. And I think with Jordan Hicks, leaving him in. I think even Jordan Hicks looked and said, you're leaving me in to face Correa? Trust. Managers make hard decisions. Leaders make decisions that people don't like a lot of times. He has to do that. And I'm telling you, confidence in professional sports is huge. And that is going to do wonders for Hicks. I really believe that. That showed a lot. Now, they're a little thin. And Alcala now in 5 straight higher leverage than he's been in has just not been good. But still, this bullpen, and I hear rumblings like their bullpen's not good. I don't know where that's coming from or what you're watching, some of you. How many times, again, Buehler goes 4 1/3. They had to eat 4 2/3 innings against the Astros, went scoreless. Remember when he's thrown out? They went scoreless in that game, right? They 7 innings. How many times have we seen the bullpen come in for the starters, especially 4 and 5, that have not gone 4 or 5 and wipe that out? You know how hard that is to do? They've done that that's something I'm going to look into. I believe it's like 5 or 6 times they've gone 4+ scoreless. And I was just impressed with the whole weekend. The whole weekend. Players are not upset about the deadline. Trust me. They know that they tried. And now a lot of the things are coming out. The more the Twins beat writer had said it was Duran or maybe the other outfielders that had to be part of that. And the Tampa Bay people, one of their beat writers was talking about that Rafaela was part of the deal to get Yandy Diaz. It was crazy. But your thoughts on the series? The pitching was out of sight. Once again, out of sight. And we'll get to that. Would you have guessed this? One of the great stories in Major League Baseball right now are the Marlins. They just swept the Yankees. The top 2 ERAs in baseball since June 30th are your Boston Red Sox at 2.83 since June 30th. Miami, 2.86. A lot of you are in you need to do this. 23, 24. Actually, you know what? Let's do it together. 23. You see this? Turn the page. Stop talking about what happened last year. I've gotten a bunch of messages about the team fading last year. Why? I told you why. Because they weren't good. Well, that's a ridiculous answer. No, it's not. Their pitching was horrible. Go look at it. We can do that. We can do an exercise together. Maybe I'll do that on the Tuesday show. Their pitching was horrible. Lucas Sims, by the way, pitched Sunday for Lehigh Valley, and he looked horrendous because he is horrendous. And that was a guy that you got last year that absolutely can be critical of it. But they were just trying to find bodies. It's not like that. Now, you do have some guys struggling, right? But you're not going to have 8 lights-out relievers. And unfortunately, Bernardino had to go back. But now you got Bernardino, Birdie, and Kelly all in AAA. That's how deep you are now. Chris Murphy's been, off the hizzo, is that? I'll just say he's been really good. I cannot be cool. But some of the guys that, like, you're going to have pockets of guys. Every team has relievers that aren't going to be like Whitlock and Chapman. And Chapman doesn't count as being a lefty. We got to stop with the too many lefties. Chapman doesn't count. He's your closer, and he pitches against anybody. But they are better. And you've got Crochet. That is a player that is, how many Crochets are there in MLB? 0.0. Remember Animal House? 0.0. Right for the GPA? 0.0001. Right? There's three guys. Scooble, Skeens, and Crochet. You could 1, 2, 3, any order. You have one of those guys. You didn't have that the last 2 years. None of that matters. Like, last year has, like, how would that factor into the games? Tell me. Like, when a guy's in a batter's box or a guy's on the mound, how does last year factor into that? It doesn't. It's called hocus pocus stuff. It's just angles fans look for to go, oh, we got you because last year. No. You didn't have Chapman. Chapman and Crochet changed your whole team. Your whole team. Deo's been better. And, man, this guy, unfreaking believable. You know what? Baseball's a long game. We didn't like the signing last year, right? I didn't really mind it because it's not my money. They gave him money not to pitch. This is how hard it is to find pitching. And if you think you found a guy that can help you next year, like they signed Sandoval, I know it's crazy at the time, but you got to give them credit for this because he's overcome injury and he's become one of your better starters. 8 innings on Sunday against the Astros. I mean, that was fantastic. Fantastic. But I back you. I get it. I understand having your doubts. Yeah, that's a risk. Gave him a lot of money. Not going to pitch. Injured to start the year. Looks shaky. Wow. I mean, he's a fifth. But sometimes it's just a long game. Trevor Story. I don't think it was really irrational for people to be upset and think like, this might not work out. Now, I talked to Rich Gedman about this, and Rich said, you have no idea how hard it is not to play in the big leagues, to be hurt and miss time. And you are starting over. And he told me in May, give it time. He's too good of a player. Defensively, it's ridiculous. He makes that play running to his right and just throwing. He runs, backhands, and he can do that in his sleep. But Rich said, you got to give it time. But I don't blame people because when he was, at the beginning of the year, I mean, he was missing velocity that was not high. I mean, so I get it, but it is a long game. But, Giolito and Story, if these guys end up, and they're only 3 out now, but if they end up winning the American League, winning the division, getting deep in the playoffs, and these two guys are a big part of it, you got to really say that's a remarkable comeback for both of them. These guys were hurt. Story was hurt a lot. Didn't play a lot of baseball. Pretty remarkable. I am going to say something that is going to blow your minds right now. I am not riding the Yankee troll bandwagon. I'm not being a contrarian. I call things like I see it. I try, it's just how I am. I'm not irrational at times. So, but I'm not. Overall, I'm not. It's hard to be when you've been in this for so long because some of that's washed out of you, so to speak. Here's why I'm not on the, people are trolling the Yankees, and I get it and all of this. For me, and I said this last month, and I probably said that on the show, I am amazed at where they are. They just got Luis Gil back. You don't have Garrett Cole. If you went into next year without Crochet and Bayo, where in the world do you think the Red Sox would have been at the break? If you looked around the game right now, I'm giving the Yankees credit because they deserve it. And you can laugh at me all you want. I don't know what team in baseball survives taking your top 2 starters out. I have a hard time finding anyone. Wheeler and Sanchez, how does that team look? and now no Judge. But the Yankees, with one voice for this long, they have looked the same to me in the minor leagues since I've been in the minor leagues. What does that mean? Always have catching, always have amazing position players, and they have better pitching than anybody. They are the ultimate lab. When we hear that, and I don't like the pitching lab thing, it's driving me nuts. They are better than anybody. I've seen that them claim guys. They have more of their guys. There are so many ex-Yankees in the big leagues, pitchers. They're all over the place. We got one. We got two. Fitz. Or maybe three. Probably have more. Weissert. They can't protect them all because they're just so damn good at producing them. But I would have a hard time, and maybe you can find this. But honestly, don't reach for something. I'm not sure. Maybe the Brewers, right? They've had some injuries, and they've gotten through it. They don't spend a lot of money. I think they're 25th in payroll. Would Toronto be good without their top two starters? So to me, it's remarkable what they've done. Luis Gil is Rookie of the Year. So, and I believe in being humble. They're going through a horrible time right now. Just let it go, because if it changes on a dime, you got egg on your face. But I do get it. All right, let's get to your excellent comments from Friday. Try to get some new people in. At Robert-U3X1K. That sounds like a robot. It really does. They went pitching heavy in the draft this year. Maybe that's a welcome change of philosophy. Yes. We talked about this on Friday. The Red Sox have had 3 legit starters since I've been in the system since 2005. Bayo, Lester, and Buchholz. Legit. And they've gone nuts. And I'm telling you, with all the position players they have in the minors, and if they hit on some of these arms that they drafted these last couple of years, and maybe Tolley and Samlin end up in the bullpen. But if you hit on 2 of these pitchers, 2, and you could have 2 in your rotation, Crochet, Bayo, Giolito, and 2 kids. Look at Seattle. That's what I want. I want it to be more pitching heavy. At Smoke Dog, double G. Dog with 2 G's, by the way. 19821. Dealing Dave has a reputation for emptying farm systems, but if you look back on the prospects he traded, none of them panned out. You are right. Dave comes from a player development background. Tells me Dave is high level when it comes to talent evaluation. He is. He has good evaluators. Michael Kopech is the only player of consequence I remember him dealing him. Yeah, but he was I don't know. For Chris Sale, didn't Michael Kopech's girlfriend's mom was on one of the Real Housewives, I believe. I remember this now because I was in Portland. He was going to be there, and we had heard from that TV show. And I was a media guy as well. I'm like, I'm going to have to deal with, it would have been pretty cool. Real Housewives. I could have handled that. Yeah. You're right. And I will tell you this. That should tell you a lot about the deadline. I saw some Phillies people saying Dombrowski had the guys. We just saw the Phillies, Lehigh Valley at Polar Park. And I will tell you this. Justin Crawford, Carl Crawford's son, is going to be an all-star. He is really, really freaking good. Oh, my. He is tall. He is wiry. He is fast. He can hit the ball everywhere. He hits the ball hard. He can play pretty much anywhere. And Dave said no. So I've been looking through the lens of Dombrowski. Even he put his foot down. I was surprised. They had to get a closer. They had no choice, if you think about it. Duran was a great move, but they had to. Because their closer's out, and their bullpen's 21st now in ERA. So while that's a great move, and I think it's a great, they had no choice. And then they got Harrison Bader. But they said no thanks on the Joe Ryan. Because it had to be Crawford and Painter. And he's, to your point, and I know 2 guys that mean a lot to Dave. Frank Wren has always been one of his advisors, and Frank would come around when I was in Portland, and Dave would come visit. Frank was there, and Tony La Russa, who, I got the weirdest story about this. We're in Erie, Pennsylvania. This is not a place that usually executives go because it's far. And in the 3rd inning, I get this note that Tony La Russa's here. and he wants to sit in my booth. I'm like, okay. And he just walked in, watched the rest of the game, and left. I'm like, didn't say a word the whole time. And that's always been Dave's, So Dave's got good people around him. I don't know if Frank Wren's still working for him. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that lens is what I look through. And when Dave said this a few weeks ago, that we're good with our internal options, he knew the market was going to be like this, and he struck first, getting Duran, which was a great move, and Bader as well. But the fact that he wouldn't get rid of a lot of his guys internally tells you how good those guys are. At Austin Ferris, 2155, we'll wrap the show up with this comment. Trading Duran would have imploded the clubhouse. Glad we kept him. Yeah, but also, trying to put the pieces together on a baseball move, it made no sense. And this is something we've gone over for weeks, right? I've not been for trading Duran unless it was, insane, right? I mean, if you got Bader, Ryan, Duran, those three guys, and Duran had to just to, prospects in Duran, and they said, we're okay with the prospects in Duran, we won't take Rafael, then that's not realistic, but I would have done that. But, would that have worked out? We think. You never know. But in terms of the baseball decision on the field, it didn't make any sense. I don't care that they have an extra. That shouldn't even be any of your people concerned. What about the extra outfielder they have? What is it? Why doesn't anybody care about that? That's Alex Cora's problem. And he said he's fine with it. As we see, they'll play Rafaela at second. They'll put Duran in center. Right? I mean, Rafael is a Gold Glove infielder. He can play second and short like a Gold Glover. And you have Duran in center. This has been fine. And Anthony left. Of course, Duran's not Rafaela. We know that. But in terms of the baseball decision, you remove him. Your depth's not as great as you think. And then you get one injury, and your team would be depleted. So it never really made sense. And Cora and the Red Sox never showed their hand that they wanted to do that. That was a lot of people just speculating. Oh, they have an extra outfielder. What are they going to do? I mean, Cora didn't care. He doesn't care. 50-something games left. They're not worried about next year. They're trying to win now. You see, he's managing these games. He had a quick hook for Buehler. And I love it. I love this show. We love doing this. You all of you are great. Your comments are fantastic. I love it. I love doing this every day. You guys are great. And they're getting through this, right? 9-6. And the other thing that we talked about, going 31-21 in the last 52. They have to go 28-21 to get to that magical 90 wins, which I think they're automatic. And after all the talk about the wild card, hey, the heck with that. Let's go for the division, right? 3 games out. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and like the channel. Follow me at the Radio Mike on social, on everything. TikTok, you name it. And thank you for watching. I'm Mike Antonellis. Red Sox Now is presented by FanArch right here on YouTube.